Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG original Grognard, back in the house. I don't know why I say that. That just doesn't work. Just doesn't roll off the tongue. Anyways, it's time for a channel update. I know I said a couple weeks ago I was going to do a channel update, and we know how I am about getting around to getting things actually done sometimes. Little bit of a health update. Yeah, the acute bronchitis is still hanging around. Not real happy with it. Could take another month for this crap to go away. Again, my lungs very susceptible to outside influences, and when anything hits my lungs, it tends to take a long time for it to heal. It's going to end up killing me one day, I have a feeling. I'll be on oxygen tanks in my old age if I ever get that far. Not looking forward to it, but what can you do? Anyway, so I don't know how much recording I'm going to get in the next month, because I hate having to cough every 5 seconds. I mean, it's gotten a lot better, but it's still quite annoying to me. Yeah, the other reason I really haven't got much recording done is you can kind of see what is on the table, and this really isn't even half of it. I got, probably twice as much stuff stashed on one of my other bookcases, selling a bunch of stuff for a buddy of mine who's downsizing from a house to an apartment, and he is a self-admitted hoarder, so he's got a bunch of stuff. It's been 2 weeks, and we're still going through his place. We're going to be going through his place again, I think, Wednesday, to try to find more games for him to get rid of and books to sell and everything else. So yeah, he doesn't do the eBay or the War Game Marketplace on Facebook thing. So I have gotten elected to be the caretaker of his estate when it comes to all things games. If you're interested in a list of what I've got available for sale, I've got a list of it posted at my Facebook group, The Original Grognard. Yeah, that's just the Original Grognard at Facebook. Go ahead, sign up. I should probably pin that post. But it's a lot of good stuff in there. There's some Avalon Hill stuff. There's some SPI stuff. There's some stuff from companies I never heard of. Simulations Canada, Talisman from Games Workshop, and you can kind of see what I've got, kind of right here. This is just some of the stuff. I'm not looking to get high price for it because, as you can kind of tell, some of the boxes are a little bit worn and mushed, and kind of happens when you're a hoarder. I'm just looking to get rid of it, get a halfway reasonable deal for him. Really, the only thing I'm taking out that I'm really charging him for doing this is maybe a few of his games. I know he's got a copy of Source of the Nile buried somewhere in his house, and that is definitely one of the games I'm going to be keeping for myself. There's one other game that I've decided I was going to keep for myself, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Of course, the sad part about it is I realize anything I don't sell I'm probably going to end up with anyways, but come on, guys, give me a hand. Help me get rid of some of this stuff so I can get my table back. So yeah, the list is there. My cold. What I want to do coming up, which is kind of the big reason for the channel update. Would love to get back into doing some Advanced Tobruk system. We've got a couple new guys that have joined the Facebook group who really want to get into it. Want to sit down with them, not necessarily record my gameplay with them, but help them get the basics of the rules. We just haven't been able to connect real well. Maybe get back with Todd, the itinerant hobbyist, and get some gaming with him. A couple of the other guys, Mitch and other Todd. Is it other Todd? Ugh, I'm horrible with names. Get a game in with them or something. So we might be seeing some ATS coming across the table here really soon. But what I would like to do eventually, and let me go ahead and pull these out. I kept these off the table because these aren't for sale. Ambush. I was so happy when I was able to get my hands on this. I found it in a game store for $50, so I had to get a copy of it. I had this when it originally came out, and I had Move Out. I had Purple Heart. I had the Marine version, Battle Hymn, whatever the expansion for that one was. It didn't have the tank one, the open fire one. And, of course, you know, Ambush was just one of the games that didn't survive after I got out of the military, like 3/4 of my games didn't. So it's always nice to get one of my lost children back home, my precious. Anyways, Ambush, and of course, you know, me being me, I had to go to Board Game Geek and print out a bunch of custom German unit cards. So we're going to hopefully be seeing those in gameplay at some point. It's been, Jesus, I was stationed on board the Duluth the last time I played this. That was 88, 89. So yeah, almost 30 years since I played this silly game. So would love to get this back on the table, but again, it would be me having to start from scratch. And the great thing is, I don't remember any of it. Well, bits and pieces, but not enough to affect my gameplay to remember what all the missions were. Also, to go along with that, I managed to get my hands on Move Out. Woo! This is actually one of the games from my buddy that I decided I was going to claim as part of my payment. I don't think there's any special cards that have been printed up, German cards. So you know, I just got the basic cards out of this, but. No, I don't plan on recording all of that. I would love to sit down and just go through all the scenarios, but I don't think I have the patience or the time to do that, so I just may pick and choose a couple scenarios. Well, at least one scenario to record and go through. But again, I'm going to have to start from scratch, read the rules over again. Excuse me. And take it from there. So this is one thing I give my caveat. There's no guarantee I'm going to get these to the table. These are a snapshot in time of what I want to get to the table. Things come up and crop up, and you know, who knows. But so yeah, Ambush, definitely would like to get Ambush to the table. Another game from a buddy of mine. This one I am still trying to sell. I'm not going to hang on to this one. I do want to try to sell this for him. But until I sell this for him, I'd like to get this one to the table. I love exploration, discovery type games. Source of the Nile, Conquistador, you know, anything where I can do kind of an alternative history. Crusader Kings 2 for the computer, I absolutely love. Europa Universalis 4 for the computer, I absolutely love. Hearts of Iron, 4's okay. But any type of historical exploration game, I absolutely just adore. So this is, of course, the reprint from the TSR, or not TSR, Strategy and Tactics magazine game. It was a magazine game, and then it was a flat box game, and then Avalon Hill got their hands on it. And Avalon Hill did a couple really cool expansions for it. But there is a solo player version. So, and you know, it's 17 pages worth of rules. It shouldn't be, and you know, nice big print, which was something, you know, almost an anthem to Avalon Hill in the day. No pictures, but you know. So yeah, this one I could do on Vassal. I've got the Vassal mod. I'm not really happy with how the Vassal mod looks. It's a little, the guy did a wonderful job on redoing the map board, but some of the text that he did on the map board is a little bit tough to read. But yeah, I mean, this is all exploration of the new world, you know. Exploring new lands, meeting new people, exploiting the hell out of them, getting as rich as you can. You know, good age of exploration, discovery type stuff. So again, would like to get this to the table. Like I said, I may do this on Vassal. It just is all going to depend. I'm going to have to sit down with the Vassal module and poke around with it, see how annoying it is to me, or I may just do this on the table if I can ever get my table back. And what else do I want to do? All right, something else I'd like to get on the table. Not many of you probably know this one, BattleForce. This is a BattleTech game. Fossil Corporation, 85, 86, something like this. I kind of, with the BattleTech computer game, I've kind of gotten on a BattleTech kick again. Don't want to go back and do BattleTech. There are plenty of videos out there. Most everybody knows BattleTech. But BattleForce was, yes, and this is my copy. It's mashed. I hate that it's mashed, but whatever. Was BattleTech itself, the main game was mech on mech. BattleForce actually takes it up a step, and the units are lances, 4 mechs each. So you can do company and battalion battles a little bit better. And it had some really, really cool, ahead of its time mechanics with C3I, and it had these, so you can see this, the counters were really, really odd shape. Let's see if I can find one of the stands to put this in. But it went off of a step reduction. And so like this is a light lance, and it only has, I think 2 mechs in it. Yeah, so you can get the identification that it's a light lance. This is the side that's to your opponent. But then here's the stats for how many steps it has, and range, and I don't even remember. I have not touched this game in 30 years, so it's been a long time. This may just be my nostalgia glasses that I'm wearing for me to want to go ahead and try to do this. But it used a really unique mechanic. It was step loss. Every time you take a step loss, you would have these little, where are they? These little counters right here that would, you could mark step losses, step loss 0, step loss 1, and they went into the actual counter on the table, like so. So, you have the status of the unit, be it, regular, veteran, elite, green, and then how many step losses it had over here. And that's how you kind of tracked it. So it was a very unique mechanic with a very odd counter, a very, very odd counter. I've never seen, counters exactly set up like this before. But it also had kind of a double blind, because this is the side you not double blind, single blind. This is the side you had towards you, and then, of course, the side that's your enemy. So your enemy would only know, okay, there's a light lance there, but he wouldn't know the exact composition. And there are, dozens and dozens of different types. That's an assault lance, there's a heavy lance, and they had different compositions. If I remember correctly, they had rules where you could, pick and choose, the different mechs and what the stats would end up being. Actually, I think with the star, I think this is an aerospace lance. This may be air support, but regardless. But it was really, really cool. I mean, here you got armor and infantry. Yeah, that has to be aerospace. Jump infantry, drop ships. It had a lot of really cool mechanics that I had never really seen before in tabletop. And again, like I said, this is just me talking out of the glasses of nostalgia. So I would like to get this to the only problem is playing solitaire is that all the stands are in black. So what I'm probably going to do is pick myself up a can of paint, like a blue and a red, just so I can, spray half of them blue, half of them red, so I can tell which side is which side when I'm playing solitaire. But yeah, it was a unique system. It was well ahead of its time. C3I, step losses, it just this unique counter look. This would have made a perfect computer game, and I think, what was it? Mech Commander that came out in the early 90s, mid 90s, was based on controlling lances. I think it's been way too long. So anyways, BattleForce, maybe get this to the table, maybe. It depends on after, try to go through the rules. Let's see what the rule book is bigger than I thought. But most of these are scenarios and campaign battles. Yeah, the scenarios. Yeah, quick lance generation. Yeah, so, you could figure out what mechs you want in a certain lance, and that would give you their different stats, their range attack, close attack, defense, range, movement, all that good stuff. But, yeah, maybe. We're going to have to go through the rules, see if I really want to deal with it. A lot of it's going to come down to me going through the rules and trying to figure out what I want to eventually play and get to the table. The good thing is I've got all these great games now, and I may break out a couple others to play. The old Dungeon Quest, that's sitting over there. My buddy has that. That's kind of a really cool, or at least it was to me back in the day, early 90s. I had that when I was in gun school, so 88, 89. Dungeon crawl game, tile draw dungeon crawl game. Republic of Rome, great Avalon Hill game. Better multiplayer, but there is a single player option to it. I may take a look at that and go through that and give that a try. What I also may do, and I'm not going to tell the guys I do this, I may just do this. I got a few guys that I play Stellaris with on quite a regular basis. We do multiplayer. I may at one of these times when we start doing another multiplayer game, I may just go covertly record them. That may draw kind of long because we sometimes go 2, 3, 4 hours when we're playing, and our games could go, because we go huge map, we crank up the difficulty, 12, 14 hours. But I may take a snapshot of one of the games that we're doing. Of course, a lot of it is inside jokes and stuff, so not a lot of people probably get it because we've been gaming together, almost 10 years now. Good group of guys. I may do that. I just got a bunch of other stuff. A lot of it comes down to what tickles my fancy at that exact moment. I mean, I've also got, we can see up there, I've got RAF. I'd love to get that to the table. Britain Stands Alone. I'd love to do Britain Stands Alone. I just don't have the table space for it. SS America and Tomorrow of the World. I'd love to get those to the table, but those maps are absolutely freaking huge. I'll never get those to the table. What else have I got? I got some stuff. Plus, I got a bunch of other stuff underneath my flat boxes. My Anzio, my Africa Core, my Bulge 81 from Avalon Hill. They're under and behind the table. So it all just comes down to whatever tickles my fancy. I've rambled on long enough. Impressed if you stayed this long. But yeah, if anybody's interested in wanting to pick up some of these games, like I said, I'm trying to get rid of them dirt cheap just to get rid of them. I'll give you a good deal on them, well under regular price. Go to my Facebook page at The Original Grognard, and I will go back and pin that post to the top just so everybody can spot it real easy. That's all I got. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll talk to everybody later. See ya!